Welcome to Tour Buds Live. I am your host, Andy, and we have a little different episode today. This is a fantastic time to introduce you to, first of all, the co-host of this show, Derek G.
What's up, Drew?
Derek G, what's up, boo boo? And we're starting off the show just going right into it. We are with the man, the myth, the legend, Pete Zen.
Hello. What's different about this one? What did I do?
Well,
you're just a special guy, Pete.
This episode, that song that you heard introducing this song, I guess that you're not going to hear it if you listen to our they're not going to hear the intro. Well, if you're listening to this live and you hear this intro, Pete did this. And Pete, wow, what a fucking great job you did.
Thanks. Hell yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to make a hardcore song.
How do you know how to do that, by the way? Like, how did you know? Because you also gave us like, all right, this is the long version, this is the short version, this is the version that you could use under your videos. Like, how do you know to do that?
I think just from like my YouTube channel, like knowing what you guys would probably need for promo. You know what I mean? I just gave you as much as I could that I could possibly need. Like, I don't know if I would use all of it, but I just gave you all the different versions. You know, it's the same thing when you finish a band's record. You just send them all the stems and be like, build whatever you want with it, sort of a thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm so glad that we got to nail you down. You're a tough one. You're a tough nut to crack, sir. We got you though, and we have you for a little bit. That's why we wanted to start the show immediately with you on deck. Derek, do you want to give your little spiel before we really get into it?
Sure. So Tour Buds is a show made to help up and coming musicians. We talk to industry pros. We talk to traveling musicians. We talk to professionals, everything. So if you're in the music scene, you're in the music industry, this is your place to get inspired. Come hang out and meet our cool friend Pete today.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this is a safe place. Everyone's welcome. We don't care who you love, what you like in life, where you're from, what you look like. We don't give a fuck. This is a safe place. Everyone is welcome, including Pete. Look at that mustache. You're like,
look at that ugly motherfucker. Welcome to the show. Even ugly motherfuckers with mustaches are welcome here.
How's Ali treating you right now, man?
It's great. I was like right near the fires. If you saw the fires that were going down not too long ago.
Heard something about those.
Literally right outside the studio, you could see the smoke on the mountain, and it was like starting to wipe out all the houses on the hill. And in the morning, I saw the smoke, and then it was like 3 hours later, I went outside and I saw the fucking top of the flame. And I'm like, okay, time to go. So I left for the week. And luckily, it didn't come into the valley, but it was like right there.
That's crazy. Where did you go? Did you come back to Jersey?
I went to Seoul. No. I just like drove out 2 hours to Solvang. It's like this like little Swedish town. So it was cool. They had a nice skate park there, and I just got a hotel.
Nice. So yeah, I mean, we've known Pete, Andy for a long time. Pete, it's been, I don't even know. It's probably like 10 years.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Each other.
I was
just pretty crazy.
I met you when I was still driving for Uber.
Yep.
And you were like on your way to some music fest or something. And I was like really hungry for it. And I was just attacking the Uber thing, making the money. And you're like, yeah, I have a management company. And I'm like, yeah, okay, well, here's my van. Hit me up if you need anything. And then you fucking hit me up a couple months later and we got cruising.
Yeah, it was fun. Me and Andy were talking about it earlier that like I was trying to catch a train to go like see Summer Slaughter or something like that with Andy.
Yeah.
And we just started chatting. You're like, yeah, I leave for tour tomorrow. We just started, we talked about how awful touring was for like 10 minutes on our ride and exchanged info. And then we started working together, and we worked with you for, I don't know, I feel like 8 projects.
Yeah, dude, I've lived so many different lifetimes. And that same story I was just talking about with somebody the other day, because one of my other things that I was doing at one point was I was building studio desks when I needed money for in between tours. And I ended up building this really shitty studio desk for my old studio owner, Len Carmichael. Mm-hmm. And I built him the desk, and he's like, I don't really know what to do with this, but I feel bad that you like put in all this effort. And I said the same thing. I said, I'm leaving for tour tomorrow. So like, I have to drop it off today. And he ended up tearing it apart. But anyway, like 6 months later, he reached out and he was like, yo, you should come check out this studio. And I ended up working there for 2 years. And he's the dude who like taught me what a patch bay was and like how to actually properly record bands, and kind of gave me a nice way out and like sanctuary to like really work on every project, which was the same with you. Like once you gave me a way out to be like, oh, I shouldn't argue with talent buyers and venues myself. There should be a third party there so that when I show up, my friend, the talent buyer, isn't mad at me. He's mad at my manager, but we're still homies and will want to book us again. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Which was the most important part, I think, of having you around,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, I think managing is like, could be a million different hats, like depending on what the artist wants, because, some guys just want you to like push emails all day, and some guys want you to organize them. Some guys, there's just so many different facets of it, and, they all kind of suck, to be honest. So that's why we're doing this now.
Yeah. And it's hard too when like you're managing yourself. Even for like my production now, I'm starting to notice it, like, which is why my time is so like packed now, is because like I have so many homies that want to record and I don't want to overprice them. I'll be like, all right, what is like, here's my rate. Like, I know it's way more than what you want, but what can you do? And like, what's the minimum amount of work that I can do to make it like worth it, where I still give a shit, but I always end up making it work somehow. And then I just pack my schedule full of stuff because I don't have a manager who's like, hey, you should not do that and you should maybe up the rate or whatever. But in the end, then it comes down to money versus art, and it gets a little bit tricky.
Yeah, it's a hairy spot, right? I mean, you don't want to undervalue yourself at the same time. So it's like, obviously you want to help out your friends, and same with us, and like you just got to kind of finding that balance can be hard, especially, I mean, for you with a jam-packed schedule now, it's probably a little bit easier to be like, hey guys, like, I've got a spare 45 minutes to work on this stuff. So like,
and it's also like I've freaking been there. Like this band the other day hit me up. They're like all 18-year-olds or 17-year-olds. And they're like, hey, we've been mowing lawns like all last summer and we haven't reached out because we want to get our money together. And they were like, we want you to mix our record. And I was like, okay, like here is my rate. And so I told them the rate, and they were like, oh, well, like they had like $2,000 to mix the whole record. And I was like, $200 a song. I definitely can't do that. But maybe we can like work something out, so like we ended up working out something, but it was way less than what I should have taken it for, just because I'm like, they fucking busted their asses. You never know what this band could turn into.
Right.
And like, I'm honored that they wanted me to be their fucking lawn money, so so I try to make everything work.
Well, then the hope is like, if they have a bigger budget, they'll come back to you.
Yeah, you would hope so.
I mean, that's obviously the hope. You have to do it. Like in the music business, you have to like, you kind of have to eat shit a little bit. It's different than, I mean, I think overall, if you're just starting, I mean, you're not just starting, you've been doing it for a while, but even still, even if you're doing it for however long, if you believe in something and you want them to come back because you actually like it and you believe in it, you'll probably do that, right? You'll do that. And then if they have a bigger budget, they have a label backing them, boom, it's even better.
Yeah, dude, I've eaten so much shit. I'm the master of eating shit. Like the thing, you would hope that bands would come back, but there's been a lot of projects that I've done where like I've written everything, recorded everything myself. Like the band has come in and be like, here's our songs, and they're just bad. So I'll redo everything, and then they'll get signed. And the problem is there's other things at play, like managers and other bands on the label that they want to tour with, and they need to have a certain sound or whatever. Or there's just like a surefire producer that works with the label that's going to hook it up for half the price. So like, I can't take it personally that these bands don't come back, but it's such a weird thing that like, it's so hard to jump from like level to level to be that guy.
Right. Right.
you know?
And that, I mean, kind of comes to the undervaluing your work, right? In that same sense, because like they're like, we'll get this guy for cheap, and then when they when they actually have money, they're like, oh, well, now we can afford this guy over here,
Right.
you
Right. But
know?
you know what? Like my clients and my artists and my people I've noticed are just starting to find me. Like
Right.
randomly, like some of my bigger credits that are coming out, like Michael Lassard from The Contortionist, I'm doing his new solo record.
Awesome.
But I was his dude because his favorite band growing up was Lit randomly.
Okay.
So it's like, who can I get to produce my solo record that understands like what I love, but can also do like a really good job, but still knows what's up with hardcore and metal and all
Right.
stuff, but isn't going to be a huge producer that's going to take $50,000 from me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, that's one of those random rare cases where I'm the perfect fit for this artist, this
Mhm.
bigger artist, you know? So
Right.
I tend to hope for that sort of stuff and lean into that stuff rather than like aim to record Metallica or whatever.
Of course. No,
Yeah.
that's, I mean, what you're building, and you know, just watching from you in your basement to that studio with Len, and then you went mobile for like a year in an RV
Yeah.
recording bands, which we could talk about in a second, but like, and then to LA, and like just to see the steps of growth of like very unorthodox methods, but it's very you, and it's very like authentic to like what you
Yeah.
seem to want to do and like want to be, and like the type of bands and artists you want to work with. So it's working
Yeah.
what you're doing.
I'm moving studios again, by the way. At the end of this month, April 1st, I'm moving to a producer house with two other producers and one of my biggest artists that I work with.
Okay.
But right now I'm at West Alley recording with Kyle Black, who Jet Jag
Right.
recorded with originally.
Right. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So same thing, full circle. Always, it always goes that way.
Yeah, that's great. So where is this studio? This is in LA still?
Yeah. It's in Van Nuys, and then the house that I'm getting is like a mile away as
Okay.
well. So that's the studio that I'm going to be moving to. Bigger room. There will be a pool and a hot tub, and we're going to try to get a mini ramp in the backyard. So it's like,
nice.
that's where
That's
I'm
awesome.
getting my priorities straight. You know what I mean?
So
like
you're
sure
just,
that the
are you
environment
gonna,
is
that's
cool.
gonna be like your home base, like once that's set, you're gonna build it out, or is this like
Yes.
is this like for a project
It's going to be
type
my
thing?
home base in LA for the time
Okay.
being. I have other plans to open like chains of recording studios
Okay.
that I'm working on right now, but I have other things I got to figure out right now too, because I just moved to New Jersey in my second place for my girl because she misses her family and friends.
Okay.
So we got an apartment over there. I have another studio in New Jersey, and then I have this studio here, and then I'm about to move the studio to another one. And this is all in the past like month.
Look at
So
you
it's
going from
Crushing.
basement dwelling to multiple homes and studios, and that's awesome. I'm happy to see you.
What was that turning point though? Because like you've been at this for a while. You've been doing bands, and you've been touring since what, 16 years old, Pete?
yeah, yep, yeah,
You
15, 16, 17.
Which I loved. I love that, first of all, that you were just like, as soon as Derek introduced you to me or me to you, I was like, this dude is special. There's something different about this guy, because like you have that aura that things kind of just attract, positive things attract to you. And it seems like through all of the bands you've been on this uphill, every band that you've been doing was better than like better, bigger, more
Yeah,
successful. And then now you're doing this, and it's like you're it's interesting, that energy that you have. What is that? What is that exactly? You just do you believe that you just like, is it that carefree nature, or is it that you're just like really hardworking?
I think that we live in a fucking simulation.
Simulation.
So for sure.
So you just
Uh,
kind of manifest it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I uh, without sounding like a crazy person, on the plane yesterday, I was on Spirit, and like they always give out like this one seat on the whole plane will get like these free miles or whatever, like 1,000 miles or something.
Mhm.
And on my plane, I was like, it's gonna be in my thing. I know it is. And then I opened the thing and I got the free 1,000 miles. I'm pretty sure you can confidence your way or be an asshole your way into
Getting what you
any
want.
positive situation.
That's the law of attraction.
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, yeah, but I mean, Derek, like I fucking was the guy fighting to be the scavenger on tour to not pay for food. You know what I mean? Eat everybody's
Absolutely. Yeah.
leftover.
I think
But I don't know,
you know,
man.
yeah, I think I'm into like that sort of mindset in the sense of like if you put out good, like helping people like you were doing, like, like we did with some artists and just in general, like that good things do come your way if you just keep at it and give it your time and like your,
Yeah.
your full effort.
Well, it was just brute force, to be honest. Like I really do think about touring and sleeping under the trailer, and I still do this today. Like something's not working out and you're just like fuck, like really angry about it,
Hmm.
and you just do it. You just kind of have to just get through it. But I think about sleeping under the trailer as one of those points when I was like, this fucking sucks. I'm going to get through this, whatever. And then I think about carrying plywood up and downstairs when I was building studio desks. The whole time I'm like screaming, fuck this fucking sucks, whatever. Or driving for Uber, waking up at like 4 a.m., doing the same thing. And then, even today I'm like recording acoustics for this band, WSTR or Waster.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I haven't really played guitar in that long, to the point where I'm like, I have tracking hands every single time. It takes me a minute. And I'm just, fuck, this fucking sucks. I don't know. It's just like a brute force pushing through it until it works out. And that's just kind of how I've always done it. And to the point where like I would piss off my bandmates, if they said they couldn't tour when I was 17 because, their grandma died. I was like a fucking asshole, way more of an asshole back then. And I'd be like, oh, really? That sucks. Like, I got to find somebody who's hungry for this shit, because at the time, like, that was the only thing that was important to me. And I was just psycho about it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I have a little bit more empathy and whatever. But I've just always tried to put the art first and thinking like I could get hit by a bus tomorrow, so I need to fucking do it today.
Yeah, but okay, so like, for someone to go out and be that driven and that focused at such a young age, there has to be something in your environment or something that you put yourself through to have that dream and that vision.
I can pinpoint one example. When I was 9 years old, I went to a drum off at Guitar Center, and like I thought I was pretty good at drums, and I went up and I played. Or no, there was like these two kids that went up. They were like gospel drummers. They went up and they slammed, dude. They were so good. They were the same age as me.
They're the best.
They were like, they had chops for real, like better than me now. And then I went up after and I was like, whatever, I'll fucking kick their asses. And then I went to play, and then the judge was like, that's it? That's all you can do? He literally said that. And it like burned in my brain. And I went home and I like got good at drums. And I fucking made sure that like it was unknockable. Because in my mind, I'm like, this is my thing. I'm a drummer. And then for somebody to like knock it, I'm like, oh shit. They're like, it was just like one of those perspective moments that there's so much
it's
more.
Like your identity at the time, and someone's just like, nah, not today.
Yeah, exactly. That like, oh, if I found that motherfucker now, I'd be like, watch me play drums.
He's probably still at Guitar Center.
I have a very similar thing, Pete. Like I've shared this on the story before, but I had like really quick. I had a 10th grade teacher, and he was like really beloved, and I really loved this dude. I looked up to him, and it just doesn't have to do with music, but it has to do with something negative just driving me. And he just kind of, I must have been talking in the class, probably flirting with some girls in the class. A lot of cuties, you know what I'm saying? What's up? And I'm like, hey, flirting, whatever, trying to be funny. And then he's like, yo, Andy, you're never going to be anything special. You're just gonna be I was like, well, holy shit. He's like, you're a nice guy. You're a nice guy. You're really nice. And you're just gonna be middle of the road, and you're not gonna be anything special. And that kind of burned something in me. And like, I was like, kind of same thing with you. I took to the drums. I'm like, I'm gonna be fucking awesome. and I'm pretty
Yeah.
fucking good. I'm not gonna lie. And then I got, I started a band, got signed, toured all this shit. So I feel like, even just doing that, I feel accomplished. And now, doing all this shit. But I relate to you. There's always that something that kind of like, maybe there's something in both of us that's similar, that if we have something that tests us and makes us feel less than, that we need to fucking rise to the occasion.
I mean, definitely. I was so broke for so long too that now, like I looked at food as what is the least amount of money for the most amount of calories for so long that it like messed up my body. Like I still eat like that. I still see that like more calories means good. And,
Mhm.
and it's like every 6 months I'll gain 30 pounds and then lose 30 pounds again because I like start to get to the point. And it's the same thing, like money. I never had money for so long. And like, because I lived the way I did, the money I make now, like old me would think that I was like a billionaire with with the amount of money that I had now. Not that I have anything, but, it's
Yeah.
just like, that is like something that's important to have security now because I don't ever want to like go back,
Right. Yeah, the perspective of what it is now compared to what it was is so different. But that's amazing to hear that you're there, and it's actually coming and getting to that spot where you're like, okay, this is comfortable, and I mean, it only grows and grows. Kind of getting back to your traveling studio,
Mhm.
um, super cool concept, and obviously, I feel like that was like a moment. I don't know this, but you tell me if I'm right. But like that seemed like a moment where you were sort of just like, I need to do more stuff, and the bands around here are not providing exactly what I need. So I'm just gonna go. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna go make it happen and like knock on people's doors and
Yeah.
record their bands, basically.
That's exactly it. I got the van. I was like talking to a couple artists, from all over who were a little bit bigger. And the only way I could make it like have enough leverage to work with them, cause, I didn't have a lot of credits or anything, was to basically be like, well, I have the studio, so I'll just come to you. We'll do it right. If you like what we came up with, then you can use it. And I'm not going to charge you. Just like give me a split of royalties or whatever, because I'm just building right now. It doesn't
Mhm.
cost me a lot. It's just gas, you know?
Genius, dude.
So I just like hustled that for a little bit. But yeah, the bands in the Northeast were starting to really frustrate me because I would put everything into a song. And you know how bands are, like there's always just strong personalities in them. So it would be some bandmate doesn't like the changes or whatever, so they end up going with the option that nobody is agreeing with, which in turn ruins the song.
Mhm.
Or it would be like, we hustle, we hustle, we hustle. I make this perfect record. They pay it off. I get them the mixes, and then they break up after, or they don't promote it, or they don't tour, or they don't. They refuse to do TikTok because in the Northeast, it's like frowned upon to like promote the thing that you supposedly care about so much. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's really frustrating. And I don't know. I think once I started working with other people who got it and like realized that there are a lot of people who really do care about the art and care about like making something special and having it last for a long time, I started to feel better about that and cling to that.
Mhm.
But the Northeast, man, it was like I was making a living, but it was not a great living. Like the rates are just lower over there. And then also the bands were, it was like giving guitar lessons all the time. And that's not to
Right.
say there aren't great bands. Like The View from Here is like one of those exceptions.
Yeah.
That's an incredible band,
But
incredible
Mhm.
players.
that's an example of a band that has immense talent and doesn't do what they should do to be fucking huge.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
frustrates me.
Yeah, I love those guys for sure, but yeah, there's that band is full. It has a lot of strong personalities that have a hard time
I love
agreeing
them
on
to death.
anything.
I love
I
them to
for
death.
sure.
They
Love
would
it.
come into the studio and like
They're the
have
best.
screaming matches with each other. I'm like, these guys are sick. These guys care about the project. But yeah, it's like they were actually all in bands that I really looked up to when I was in high school. Like
Mm.
By Defect and I don't know, but bunch of other bands, and they were like those bigger-ish like regional bands then,
Yeah.
but they were a little bit older than me. So at the time, like I was recording them at what like 25, 26, whatever, and they
Yep.
were like 30, 31, and now they have a little bit more responsibility, so they can't tour.
Right.
So it's like how, you know
It's
what I mean?
tough.
It's
It's
really
tough.
hard.
And I think they're recording again on just themselves, which is amazing to see because like you said, they are probably the most talented total band
By
that's
far.
around here.
So
By far, yeah.
So I'm glad. I think they took the pressure off of themselves a little bit. I think that had a lot to do with it. It was like pressure for the reason we're getting older. We need to get this stuff out, and everybody came from a little bit different musical background. So some of the members didn't quite understand, and meanwhile, like I'm listening to all of the demos, like every one of these songs is ridiculous, guys. Like
Yeah, just put it
it's
out.
okay. Just put them out. Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Like,
They've also had some weird luck. Like I remember I did their acoustic EP, and
Mhm.
then I went out with Anthony Cabrera to go do like a booking trip or whatever,
Mhm.
because at the time I was still a talent buyer, but producing a little bit. Whatever. We went out to San Francisco, and I got my fucking laptop and hard drive stolen that had their EP on it.
oh, I
Yeah,
remember that.
I
And I was
remember.
like, I'll re-record everything. I'm so sorry. They're like, it's all good. We like the first mixes. We'll put it out. And
Yep.
then, same thing. They recorded with somebody else who was really excited about a piece of gear they got or something and blasted it on every single stem in the song. So it was like very hard to mix and very messed up. You know what I mean? They've
Mhm.
just had a couple things that have gotten in their way.
Yeah, but hopefully they put some new stuff out. They're awesome dudes. The View from Here, we love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, if they just finish if they finish 10 songs and then take a week off work and make like 1,000 TikToks,
Oh,
they'll be
yeah,
and be
Dude.
themselves in it, screaming at each other and shit and like saying
Yeah.
crazy penis jokes and stuff. They will be the biggest band in the world.
Yeah, because
Definitely.
isn't that the truth? Because I feel like in music, just the music, just the product is such a small amount to being a musician or in the music business. It's actually just a small part of it. The most of it is working and showing your personality, telling the story of who you are. I think the
Yeah.
story is everything, and I think, like you said, their personalities are very interesting, and just showing who you are, I think, goes a long way.
Well, the music has to be good is the bare minimum. If it's not, then it's kind of like
Right.
polishing
Once you
shit
get,
all day, you know?
but I think everyone now, like with technology, everyone's working at a very even playing field. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably offensive to you because you're a producer and I'm just saying,
No.
like, there, like with technology, you could record a good album in your basement, right? If you have
Yeah.
good mics, you can. What I'm saying is, you need to stand out, though. You need to have that good recording. It's a must. But now it's like, where do you go from there? How do you progress? How do you get people to not just believe in you, but want to have anything with your logo on it? Like, how do you get that? How do you get someone to go from, oh, okay, that's cool, to being like, I need this? And I think it's in selling that story or showing the story of you. And
Yeah, you just have to make yourself known like anything else.
but yeah, and it's just like constant posting, and you have to harass people all the time, but it's just, that's the business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
until it starts to snowball and then you're chilling. You just have to
then
put
you're
yourself out there, which is apparently the hardest part for people,
by far. That barrier of like the ego thing with TikToks, and obviously it's becoming less and less because now we're getting old and all the bands are super young, and like that's just normal to them. But like
Yeah.
I feel like for the 30-year-olds, and like it's still like this weird taboo place where like if you're doing it, you're gonna crush, but everybody doesn't want to
Mhm.
like look like a fool or whatever, and it's like that's not.
There's ways to
If
do
I
it,
don't,
you
yeah,
know.
like in honest, I always try to like tell people like, if you put out a bad TikTok and it comes on my screen, like I'm just swiping away from it. I'm not like writing down who it is and like being like, these guys are fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Like it just goes away. Right? Like,
Yeah. Well,
Why?
the
What
worst thing
is
to
that?
do is just like the same TikTok over and over and over again, just singing the song. You know what I mean? That doesn't
uh-huh.
work.
Oh no.
You like Andy saying, you need to have your fucking personality
Yeah.
in there. Did you guys
Right.
see Did you guys see
Your
the freaking
viral clip?
the really viral TikTok I
yeah.
had the other day?
Oh, it's in the
Dude,
clown one.
Can we
The
show
yeah,
clown
we
it?
beat.
made a clown.
Can we
Yeah.
show it on here?
Clown.
Um,
I don't know.
I don't know if I can get it up here. It's on our Instagram right now. It's in our stories. I posted it. It's the most.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, it's a sick beat. Second of all, it really is like it's just a catchy beat. Like that alone, it's like so different. But like the first time you're like, oh, that's silly and goofy, and then like you listen to it a
Yeah.
couple more times, and you're like, oh,
we were
shit.
waiting for an artist to come into the studio, and he was like late, and he was like, yeah, just get something going before we come. And so I was like, yo, let's fuck with him. We're gonna make this beat. And then I was like, all right, we gotta post this. This is like the viral moment. And then we posted it, and it has like freaking 10 million views accumulated across
It's
everything. And like the top comment has like 200,000 likes and shit. But
so
what
crazy.
I didn't know is that there's like thousands of legitimate, real clown inspired artists.
Really?
My DMs, I have like hundreds of messages from people of like real people who have like 20,000 monthly listeners, and like,
Yeah.
like
Well,
they
that's
like
what.
have
So I was
shit.
looking through like all the reposts and stuff of that clip and
Dude, this is
whatnot.
insane.
And,
How many?
there's so many people. Like, I guess I don't know if some of them are juggalos or like what their deal is, but like
Hold
that's
on, let me
like
see if you could hear
it
this.
just
I'm gonna play it
fits.
just on my phone. Hold on.
Your beats are too circusy. I don't know. I think it's pretty sick. Play it.
It cut out a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We heard the beginning, but the actual. It's so funny. Pete, you're a good last time you went viral was for like toilet paper song.
Yeah, I have a lot of moments of there was
Which
the
is
good one
good.
at
I mean,
there was the one at
in-
Landmine where the dude went I was like, yo, test the mic real quick, and he's like a screamer, and he went, nice cock, and it went mega viral, got posted on fucking Anthony Fantino, and dude, all this shit. But it's funny because so I had all these people reach out about finishing the clown beat, and they wanted to buy it, and I was like, this is where I draw the line. I'm not doing it.
Put a
It's
big
like
price
that's
tag out there. Finish it.
no. So my buddy Matt, who's here right now, he's chilling on the couch. But he has been assisting in writing for a bunch of stuff, and he just quit his job to like do music full time. So he's like,
Congrats,
"Yo,
Matt.
I'm gonna finish the clown beat." I was like, "Yeah, do it, man. Make your money, because it's probably a gold mine, honestly. If there's like hundreds of
sure.
clown
sure.
artists, but then
It's
you're kind of
Juggalo
known
season.
as the clown beat
Is the
guy.
clown beat guy.
Gigolo. Is it
Yeah.
Gigolo or Juggalo?
Juggalo.
Juggalo.
You just change your name. Just make a clown beat producer name, and then you just make a different page, and we're good.
That's a whole saga. That's a whole thing.
You guys will be at the I don't know what they call the ICP festival that they do, the gathering. Is that what it is?
Wait, hold on. What I want to know is what did that reel do on Instagram as opposed to the over 1 million on TikTok?
So it took off on Instagram first. How many likes does it have on Instagram?
It's
do you know?
pretty good.
Like
It is
like 100,000 or something.
200,000.
I mean, that's great, but like, do you see what I'm saying? Like with Instagram, kind of fucking sucks. It doesn't
compared
help.
to TikTok.
Yeah, and but TikTok wasn't hitting until after Instagram.
So it like pulled people over there.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. And then I posted on YouTube Shorts, and it did okay there too, which I actually have it monetized there, but it doesn't pay out anything for a short. It's like we made $8, I think.
Yeah, it's got. What do you got? Like 81,000 shares, 3,000 comments, and 200,000 likes on.
So
Instagram.
if there was a way that the view from here could add in a riff into that and be like, check out our new circusy beat, and then play their song, now that's how you translate it into promoting your band.
It'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Vince, take note.
Yeah,
Listen to
but
Pete.
we had no angle from that. That was just pure like.
Yeah. Did you other than the clown beat stuff? Like DMs where you get like, did you get any other DMs? I mean, it's hard, I guess, for them to say like you're a producer for like pop punk and like
Yeah.
indie rock and stuff
I
like that.
I
Like,
I don't think so. I think it just enhanced anybody who was thinking of working with me that's like similar minded. I think it
yeah,
enhanced their
right. Like,
want
oh,
to
this
work with
guy's
me.
cool.
You know what I
I
mean?
can say that I worked with X guy, the clown guy.
The clown guy. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's so good. I love to see that stuff go, and I love to watch your social media because it's a mix of like that fun, goofy stuff, and
Oh,
then I can also pop on there and watch you write 37 songs in 45 minutes from front to back, which is always exciting to do.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's the tricky thing is I do want to do some like real music.
Mhm.
Like I have some solo stuff and I've been releasing it a little bit, but it's tricky because it's like I want it to be over the top and sick, but I do still love bands like Death Cab and like really
Yeah.
just like coffee shop style stuff, like safer stuff. Um,
Yep.
so it's tricky because I don't want to like polarize my audience by doing like some shreddy song with like the Office samples in it versus like
Mhm.
an acoustic emo song, you
Right.
know.
Right. If you put out an album of X genre, it may affect your clientele in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not so worried about that, but it's more just like I really care about the music, which I guess is what like why people have trouble like posting it. I care about
Right.
like what I'm gonna put out a lot, So
Right.
I just want to make sure that it's concise and really reflects like what I'm trying to make.
Hmm. And just keep it moving because I don't want to lose you. But um, another thing I saw you've done recently, you've been touring with Low Spirit. Is that the name?
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
Yep.
So what's that situation? And like, is that something that you just filled in for, or is that like a more of a permanent gig when
um.
the tours?
No. So she's somebody that I found when I was traveling in the van.
Okay.
And I produced one song for him, or did like extra production on one song. And then we stayed in touch. He flew me out to LA and we did a couple writing sessions, which turned into one of his bigger singles. Um, and then he had a tour planned with the Struts and also his first solo tour. And he didn't really know like if anybody was going to show up, because he never even played a show. So he hit me up to play guitar. And I went out and first night, dude, he drew like 800 people or something like that.
Jesus,
And then on the Struts dates, there was like 2,000 to 4,000 people, which was nuts.
that's insane.
Super underprepared for the tour. Like everybody was like our in-ear array was messed up. There wasn't enough merch. There was like meet and greets and there was no security or anything. It was nuts. And we tried to play Philly and we couldn't get our rig up the stairs. Like literally it was too heavy to get up the stairs and it was too narrow. You know what I mean? So it was really just like, he's a perfect example of like an incredible artist who put himself out there and it went.
Right.
But he has
And
the
then
same story as all of us, dude. He was in bands and toured forever. And then his band got shelved and he stopped doing music for a little bit. And he's like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to do music again. And then it just like blew up. But so
amazing.
that's actually who I'm moving into. I'm moving into his house.
Oh, hell yeah.
For my next studio. So it's me, him, and then another producer, Austin Coop, who's been crushing it recently. I think he has some credits with they're doing like new Papa Roach and Silverstein and Dolores
nice.
Prada and all this crazy stuff. So I'll be like small fish there working on pop punk shit, but it'll be cool.
That's great. I mean, it'll be good for just networking and stuff in general. I would imagine that's a big, even being where you're at now, you're probably meeting a ton of people coming in with Kyle and things like that. Is that has that made a difference? Like where you're at and like you think where you're gonna end up like is gonna make a big difference network wise and potential like growing?
Yeah. I mean, there's just so many people around everywhere. Like Strung Out was here the other day remixing their record. And I was talking to the drummer for a little bit. He was showing me his demos. He's like, "Yeah, we need a singer. You want to sing?" And I was like, "I don't think you want me." But like that could have been another offshoot story that could have been a thing. But yeah, I mean, everybody is just around here and it's a lot more communal where like I can meet up with other producers who are full time, and it doesn't feel like it's like this not a real job thing.
Right.
I feel like that's very common. When I was touring, we would stay with our friend John Bellion, and he lived with that artist Logic at the time.
That's crazy.
And there was a bunch of people like coming and going. They were neighbors with like Jessica Alba, and it was like it was really cool. It seems like everyone in the music scene kind of helps each other out, lives with each other, and I love that. That's fucking sick. I don't think that happens in the Northeast, right?
No, everybody's
No.
too cutthroat over here.
Yeah, no, it doesn't happen in the Northeast. It's like all the other producers, there's just not the problem is like there's not enough good shit to go around. So it's like people are really just like competitive and hold on to everything they have, and they think that everybody's talking shit about them all the time, and they're always trying to take other people down. It's a bummer, man. I mean, I like wish I moved here sooner. The only thing honestly that's really good about the Northeast is for touring bands, because it's like short drives and there's a lot of venues.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot easier to get your start touring, I feel like, in the Northeast rather than the West Coast or even really anywhere else in the
It
US.
depends. Like, think about the vans though. Like, how many times our vans broke down because like we're touring in winter. All of the like Southern California, you just have constant perfection. You only have to
for sure.
drive like down, like get some.
But think about it. Think about where your van broke down. In the middle of fucking nowhere.
The desert.
Right?
That's because it's used to the fucking cold, and it's like, what are you doing to me? Dude, breaking
down
in the desert sucks.
That sounds like it sucks. I've never broken down in the desert. I mean, I've broken down everywhere else, but not that climate. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's not that great. It's not that fun. But we broke down in Wyoming, in like the desert of Wyoming, and amongst many other places. But this one time I really remember because we had to like find ourselves a little motel. We missed a show. We were on tour with Derek's band, and we missed a show.
Minnesota, I think you missed.
Yeah, and that sucked because that was like apparently a good show for us.
It was like for sure the most kids who came out to see you guys were at that show. 100%.
That sucks.
Like a bunch. It was a sick show, but like all the kids came up to us and were like, "Is Letters playing? Like, where are they at?" We're like, "They fucking broke down." He's like, "Oh, we've been waiting for them to come." Like, we'll tell them. Like,
but like it was really creepy. Like, it felt like one of those horror movies. Like, what is that desert fucking Rob Zombie film? Whatever. Like, we walked into this motel and it was this big woman with a goiter the size of like a little baby.
Yeah.
And
a goiter.
It was just like a lot of shady dudes out there like smoking a cigarette and just like looking like who's my next victim. And it felt very uncomfortable. And that was it for miles. It was just this one little motel. And I think, we eventually got there. It was, it worked out, but the desert is scary as fuck. It's scary.
Yeah, dude. How old were you on that tour?
That was a 6-week tour.
Little baby.
How old was I?
Yeah. You're probably like 23, 24.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah, we were little babes.
Now, maybe you were a little
babes in the woods, and we didn't know any better. We were just like little fawn. All of these
that drive up there in Wyoming, because I remember at nighttime, it was just like nothing in one road, and like just every once in a while you'd like pass a buffalo in the pitch black, and it's like, okay, maybe we should slow down just in case one of these things takes 4 steps into the road and we all die. Because
dude, I just wish somebody shook me when I was like 17 touring.
Yeah.
And was like, this is not the right way to do it. You need to you need to make better music and get somebody to take you out on tour or something. Cause it's like,
that's easier said than done.
I know, but that's what I feel like that's
like, that's not true, because during our time touring, I remember always seeing we would hit up, we played with this band Kubla Khan, like in Texas, a bunch of times, and we would always like cross paths, play single shows. But these guys were on the road when we were home relaxing. These guys were on, and now they're fucking blowing out. It takes time. They're huge now.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a band like with good music, all you got to do is like survive for 10 years, like touring, and eventually you'll get you'll be solidified. Like the Case of Strain is like a perfect example that never had like some crazy hype moment or something, or even the Contortionists, right? Like they've just like grinded their way to having it. But I mean, was not in personally, I was not in a position to be able to like sustain that. Like I was talking to Anthony the other day, and we were like, yeah, like if we broke down one more time on that tour, what would we have done? Because literally my account would overdraft every other day.
Yeah.
And then we would like hustle t-shirts at a mall, or I would start making phone calls back home. Hey, you need to record? Like I'll record your whole album for $50. Like,
but that's it, right? Like that's where you learn to grind. Like you grind. Like that's the part that's like, for sure. Is it inefficient? 1,000,000%. Is it stupid? Probably. However, like doing that at a young age and like learning like this is it. Like I need to sell 7 t-shirts like just to get to the next city, and like how to make this band survive is what you're, it's a part of what you're doing now, like in the way you approach everything. So I think a lot of that, like, especially back then, wasn't as big and like as well thought out by anybody at that point. I think now everybody's like has access to get their music out on Spotify. So everyone wants to get out on the road, and there's like a more efficient way, and you can watch YouTube and like learn how to route a tour correctly, and like who to bring, and like how to expand. Back then it was just everybody just hopped in a van and just went. And
we were like the last generation of band. We were the last generation of band to do MapQuest for a tour.
Yeah.
There was no GPSs. That's fucking nuts. To try to find the meat locker on MapQuest. Like,
oh yeah, exactly.
This is the third time the meat locker has been brought up, Derek.
I know, the meat
because
locker
it's the worst venue.
Legendary. It's the worst, greatest venue on the planet.
Yes. And there's that Crypt Keeper in the bottom, like just like,
yeah, the janitor guy is nuts, but
he's
meat locker's amazing. But it's let's just say, like, I think we're all glad that you and we did it at some point, because it's just the way it was, right? Like, especially like you said, you say you're the last generation. I mean, you were 15 years old using MapQuest. Like we were, no one your age was doing that. Like or very few people who are your age remember or ever with MapQuest, right? Like
aging myself.
Yeah, listen, I mean, we're way older than you. But
it was fun though. I mean, I loved every second of it. There's nothing better than fucking being a pirate. But
goddamn right. Fuck yes.
But it was just like, I don't know. I think about all the struggle I went through like later on because of those tours, or putting all this money into a project for with people who aren't like-minded. Right. It's like not a great investment.
Which is easy to look back on now and say, but at the time you didn't know any different.
Yeah.
You didn't know you don't know what it looks like, right? Until you see someone else doing it and you're like, oh, that's what we were supposed to be doing. Like the hindsight of all. I mean, that's everything. If I could go back to being 18 right now and start a band, I think I would make it a
buy
lot
Bitcoin.
further. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God.
You'd have a jet. You'd be flying to Hunter Cap rooms in a jet.
That's sick. That's like real baller shit.
Just roll in with like a giant tour bus. But
that's the tricky thing, because that's the world that we came from, right? So we gave a shit about the art and the DIY aspect of it, and now that I'm in the real world, it's or not the real world, but like in like professional recording world, it's like I have to be a certain way, and I have to treat my business like a business, but in the end I give a shit about the art a lot more, and the like hunger behind the kid that's making the songs more than the actual project. So like I said, that's why I stay busy and I say yes to everything, because I do have that inner dilemma of like trying to hook it up for somebody who's on the grind right now.
Right.
So I'm not.
Right.
So I take it back. I'm not trying to disrespect the grind. I definitely am still all about it.
Yeah, that's it's definitely it's part of you, and it's I'm gonna manifest your big recording deal coming up from some super famous band that's gonna pay you like $100,000 to record their shit.
And that would be nice.
Things
so
just
yeah,
it just never ceases to amaze me the things that happen to you, Pete Zen. I love it. Your stories are fucking insane. And look, we're in the Zen Den right now. What's going on? What's going on in the Zen Den?
Just making records. I actually got that from this band Push from Philly, and they just did a split with Scary Hours, which is another Jersey band. Both hardcore bands that are super sick. But when I moved here, he sent that to me. Yeah, just a lot of projects, a lot of mixing. I think I have 25 projects at once that I'm doing right now.
Jesus.
So I just have a list, and I wake up and I chew neuro gum, if you guys have heard of that.
Yeah.
And I just are you a
TikTok affiliate?
No, I heard Joe Rogan say it once, and I'm like, that sounds cool.
Yeah, I actually
it's
have
kind of
some
jacked. Maybe it'll.
Does it actually work? Though?
Yeah, does it work?
Yeah, it's got caffeine in it too. So even if it doesn't work, it gets me jacked up because caffeine hits me. Yeah, caffeine hits me really hard. So,
dude, whatever happened to you streaming video games or just playing video games in general?
I was doing that a lot, and then I was like playing with my buddy Tom, Pirate Tom, who sets up guitars in Jersey.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't keep up, dude. He was like getting really good, and he was getting pissed off at me.
Yep.
And all my other friends were getting pissed off at me, and I was like, I can't hang. Like, this isn't the thing. So I was gonna try to do like live song mixing and live, like song creation, but I ended up just making YouTube videos instead.
Yeah. A little easier to
but
control.
That was a little saga that I did for a minute that was starting to do pretty well.
Yeah,
it was just a lot, man.
I always liked your live songwriting sessions to watch. We used to do on. I think you used to do them on Facebook, right?
Yeah, and that's actually how the owner of the studio found me. I was on live in like Defend Pop Punk group,
right,
writing a song, and he saw my riff and was like, "Oh, that's sick," and reached out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but well, I do
like in there.
I do YouTube videos now where I'll create a song from scratch, and that's essentially the same thing.
Same thing, yeah. Yeah, no, I'll definitely get back in there. I liked when you did do it live, like with people commenting and throwing in their ideas and trying them out and stuff like that. But yeah, I just enjoy watching your process because it's like lightning speed, and it's like clear that you have the entire song in your head before you even start.
Yeah, well,
or at least it feels that way.
Yeah, it's definitely more like the ideas are coming and I don't want to lose them, so I kind of like have to fucking get it out into the computer as fast as I can. I just had somebody the other day on a remote call. They were like, "Yo, do you play like StarCraft or anything?" And I was like, "No." Well, why? They're like, "Your click speed is lightning fast." And I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, I need to get this idea out. Shut up."
Stop distracting me.
Yeah.
That's great. All right. Well, anything you want to like promote, tell people about, let these people know what's going on, where to find you?
I would say just maybe check out my YouTube channel, because that's like the most fun thing that I do. It's like I create a song from scratch using only a Big Muff pedal or something like that. Cool. But that's been something that I want to get back to that I haven't done in a couple months. So yeah, I would say check me out there, and check out my clown beat on Instagram. Those are my two most accomplishments right now.
That's great. We'll throw your YouTube up there on our Instagram and share you and things like that. So hopefully people can find you and get some sick songs.
Hell yeah.
Pete, before you go, where are you getting your burritos right nowadays?
Salsa and beer in LA. There's like 5 of them here, And the first week that I came here, I had it 3 times. And I think that's why I've gained 30 pounds. Like, no joke. It's sick. The burritos are like freaking monstrous.
They're like, it's so true that Southern California has, it's New York and New Jersey. They don't even compare to Southern Cali. To the
They don't?
It's not even close.
They straight up.
In the burrito game, not even close, right?
Not even.
Yeah, they straight up do not. I mean, like Philly has Philly cheesesteaks, Jersey has pizza, which I just ate a bunch of last week when I went over, and Cali has fucking burritos.
The best.
And a lot of bakeries and donut shops too, which my girl says that I treat that like the fucking bar. Like when I'm pissed off, I'm like I'm going to the donut shop.
But everyone over there is still hot, so it's kind of weird. All this trash food that everyone's eating, but they're fucking. But they also
doesn't work for me, bro. I fucking.
You're hot, dude. You're fucking hot. Don't even.
I've gained so much weight. But I'm like trying to get back on it because I noticed that as I get busier, I just sit in the chair and my back starts to hurt and shit.
Yeah.
So I went for a run the other day and my heart was fucking pumping. I did 1 lap and then I walked the next lap and I was like, all right, like something.
It's a good start, man.
Wrong.
You get to start.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So what are you off to today? Are you hanging out with the lady?
No. So she's in New Jersey and I just come here for work and I fly back and forth.
Shit.
Oh, word. All right. Well, let us know when you're back so we can hang out for real and like in person.
Yeah.
We'll do some stuff. We've been doing some cool video stuff in New York, so we'll hang out and do some of that stuff. And send us a picture of you eating one of those monster burritos so we can post it up.
Yeah, I will.
We'll make that the YouTube cover when we put this out on YouTube.
Yeah, that's sick.
Pete, thank you for joining us. I love you.
Thanks, guys. I miss you guys.
Look at this.
Oh, it's not even gonna work. What a loser. Oh, there it is.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Do the new one, Andy. Send us out with some fireworks.
All right.
Andy learns a new hand motion every time. I'm so glad it didn't work.
It's not working. What the fuck?
All right. Everybody.
Mine's not working.
Yeah, all right. I'll tell you what it was supposed to be. Before, when we were practicing, it was a fireworks show, and it shuts me down. And it shuts me down, and all you see is fireworks. God damn it! Fuck this.
It works on Zoom. I know that for sure.
All right, Pete. Thank you so much. We won't keep you any longer. Go make some awesome music, and we'll talk and link up soon.
Cool. Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Let's play Warzone.
Thanks for coming.
Peace.
Later.
Yeah,
Andy, that was a good time with Pete. What did you think?
Great time. I'm so glad that we got him. I know he's a busy man, so that was really, really cool. I'm glad that we got to chat with him. I like talking to people that you know what's good. I think that he is the opposite of a lot of those bands that get like too precious about their product and they can't release it because it's not perfect. I think Pete is really good at like, all right, churning. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Come on.
We'll get it one day.
Why doesn't it work? Fuck.
I don't know.
It was so cool. It felt powerful. But anyway, I really like that, you know, he doesn't get stuck. He's able to just fucking, that's probably why he's successful and he is where he is, because
definitely
he knows what's good and what's not. And if it's not, whatever, just put it out. Let's keep going.
He pumps it and promotes like no one else. Guys nonstop.
The pump and dump.
That's it. All right. Well, let's wrap up. You can give our spiel. And
well, hold on. I want to talk about what we're doing right now. Derek and I are starting another little business that we have in Mill Iron Studios. Everyone check out Mill Iron Studios. Derek and I have this little video thing going on. Derek, explain it, please. You'll do it better than me.
Yeah, so we're trying to get bands access to like, you know, super high quality playthroughs and record social clips and music videos and things of that nature. Just to help with like everything in this new, you know, or not really new anymore, but social media space, and just to get their stuff out there for, at just the highest quality possible, which is not easy for a lot of bands to access at this point.
So it's music videos, playthroughs, interviews, and even for companies, if you want to shoot a cool product placement video or whatever, drums, guitars, pedals, strings, I don't give a fuck. We're doing all that. But yeah, we shot with Rory Max Kaplan, Alex from Glass Lungs, and Mikey from Enox. We're putting together a little package, and we're gonna sell, baby.
That's right,
and that's what we're doing.
That is what we're doing. We got a Sunday night. Also, we're doing another live in the studio, a little different setup. So check that out. We'll be posting about it tonight and for the until Sunday with PHO, super unique metal Chinese influence. It's a really just cool new sound. So we're excited to talk to them and hear some of their music.
Yeah, we will be in studio with them, as Derek said, and they will actually play their songs, few of their songs. So you don't want to miss out on that. It's going to be fucking awesome this Sunday live at 7 p.m.
7, yep.
Yeah,
exactly. So let us know what you think. Andy, can you do it? Fireworks? No. All right. I'm gonna end it while you keep there we go. That's perfect.
Yes. Yes.
Right, everybody will see you Sunday.
Bye.
Looking forward to it later.